Good morning and happy Tuesday. Welcome to this week's edition of Not Your Normal Healthpreneur. I am your not so normal host, Benita Amos. I'm working to be the healthy gorilla. Not Your Normal Healthpreneur is a weekly show for health practitioners who are looking to start and grow their natural health business. The show aims to help these businesses increase their exposure and reach, better help their clients, and thus increase their income. Our intent is to connect like-minded practitioners, share knowledge and strategies, inspire newbies and wannabes to accept the call to action, to encourage collaboration and cooperation among all practitioners as we continue to create the health modalities of choice for the future. We're keen to help health practitioners gain more clients, grow their business, acquire more tools to help more people, and in the process, to give people education and insight into some of the natural modalities that are out there and where they might turn to for help as an alternative to, say, settling for mediocre health or resorting to the standard invasive medical procedures that are the norm today, or the taking of pharmaceuticals with potentially harmful side effects. Ultimately, we want to show how challenging the current healthcare system can work to create more profits by helping more people. So it's a win-win for everyone. So I'm so pleased to announce my guest this week, Dawn Almberg. Dawn is a registered acupuncturist and a herbalist, and also one of the sweetest souls in my tribe.
You.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Dawn.
Good to see you. Yeah.
So let's start and maybe give us a little bit of an idea of what your current business is. What services and products do you offer?
Right now, I have my business is New Balance Acupuncture, and I offer acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. And I also have a coworker, Dana Betskis, who offers reflexology, Reiki, and raindrop therapy. So she's lovely as well. Yeah.
So what would you say was the catalyst for starting your business?
It was a major life change. I was going through a divorce. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And I always knew there was more to our physical reality, I guess, for lack of a better word. There was more affecting us. So acupuncture, it was all about energy and herbs and like in the earth, everything is here for us. So to use that just seemed like a natural fit, and I just fell right into it and love it.
Nice. So I know you work with a lot of different people, but who would you say is your ideal client?
You know what? I don't know if I have, I've thought about that, and I don't know if I have one ideal client. I think people who come in with they have more of an open mind, I guess.
Right.
And even people that aren't really that open, maybe they come in, it's like, you know what, you're my last chance. The power of the medicine speaks for itself. So it's anybody that really really cares about their health and maybe open mind, or, looking at other perspectives and how they can empower themselves with their health, but also in their mental, emotional states as well.
Right. And that's actually, that was the impetus for me putting together this show as well, right? Is that we're trying to find the people who are looking for you. And even if they don't necessarily know that they're looking specifically for you, they're looking for something that's a little bit, say, out of the norm.
Oh, yeah. Outside of the box, literally, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what kind of challenges do you typically help your clients overcome in your business?
Generally physical, obviously, because it's very, acupuncture is physical. But so for a lot of people with pain patterns, a lot of fertility, there's a lot of people that want to get pregnant, they're, faced with issues there. So we can help people with that. A lot of people with stress, and a lot of people with the mental, emotional, being trapped in that, place. But, working with the body helps them come back into that center, that place where there's innate wisdom in our bodies. And so to kind of tap back into that, it's huge. And that can then help people, their resilience, and just like life doesn't seem so heavy or hard, right? When you have that health. So, yeah.
Well, you hit on something that touched a nerve for me, is that whole innate wisdom that we do have.
Mm-hmm.
That nowadays we've actually gotten to the point where we either don't listen to it, or we don't even know that it's there anymore.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't really know. And it's like we look to the outside for our answers, or for and not to say that's a bad thing, but we look for, we take what other people say, or systems even. And so it's about returning back, and it is within us. And yeah, we need help, but that's okay. That's what community is for. And that's what we need that support. And it's all about relationships.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what would you say gives you the most excitement in your business? Tell us about some of your successes or wins, because I know you've had them.
Oh my gosh, it's every day. When I see people that, have struggled with maybe getting pregnant, and I get an email or a call, and they're having their baby, or they this summer I just had a lady come in and she surprised me, and she brought her 4-month-old baby that, she had trouble conceiving. And so it was just like, what that is, makes my heart, that's what it's all about. And people that have had pain for months, and they come in for some treatment, and they are just, they're relieved. Their whole body, their whole perspective, everything shifts. And for them to realize that change is possible, that's the reward right there.
Well, and especially because I know I went the gamut of all of the conventional processes or treatments, if you will, that were out there. Probably before I first came to see you. And again, it was the same thing, right? It's like after a while, you actually don't know anymore where to go for help.
No.
You're almost at the point of desperation. It's like, please, just
yes.
Some relief here, right?
And I see quite a few people like that. And it offers a different perspective, because it looks at, and I'm not saying this is the end all be all. There's so many tools, right. But it just gives another perspective. And it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, no wonder you have pain. Look at, like, everything is patterns. I mean, look at the universe. Everything is patterns. So when we can put that in the context of your body, it makes sense. And then that really, people feel at ease with that, or they feel more, it's like, oh, no wonder, it makes sense. It's not like, what's wrong with me? And it kind of going down that rabbit hole, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it gives another perspective again, which is empowering. So.
Yes. Well, and you talk about the rabbit hole, and again, it's all in your head. Well, indeed, it may be in my head, but as long as it's there, I'm still dealing with it.
Absolutely.
So even if it's somehow cleaning out what's in our head, that's not a bad thing.
No, exactly. And so it's like creating maybe space. And even if it's a little space, there can be a huge shift when you have that. It only takes a little bit, and that it's huge.
Well, I always like to use the analogy of, if you can just just crack the door open just a little bit to let some light in, you have no idea where it's going to go, but it's the start.
Absolutely. And that's what I see in my practice with people, say, with pain or issues. And it's just like, give them a little bit. And even if their pain only changes for a half a day to begin with, it gives them that realization, like, oh, I can actually have relief. So that you can just build on that. It's a momentum then. Instead of down into that compressed state, it's more into the, oh, there is relief, right?
Yes. Well, and again, this is what I always like to say too, is you want to give people hope.
Yeah.
So many people, especially as we get older, so many people have lost hope and started to believe that this is as good as it gets.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's not, but we're, as a society as a whole, it's like, well, this is what happens. And it's just, so to go against that, I mean, no, it doesn't have to be like that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for someone starting out in your type of business, can you offer advice on, say, what to do or what not to do as they're starting out? Do you have any pearls of wisdom for us?
Well, I guess like for me, when I started out, I had a partner, like, who I went to, she was a fellow student, and we actually purchased a practice. So that was kind of like, well, the clientele, but we had to be the ones to kind of keep them too, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have the experience of actually starting from scratch, because we walked into a kind of a turnkey operation already. But I mean, it's about communication, and really, yes, it's about the medicine itself. Of course it is, but it's about connecting. People want to be heard. People want to be listened to. They want to, so for me, it's about, and I love it. That's my passion, is connecting with people. So if you can sit with them and you can listen to them and actually hear them, then use that medicine to, what did you come out with? What do they need most? What do they need? And, respond.
Yes. Well, and again, that you hear that everywhere. It's like people just want to be heard.
Yes, and not just brush through or, and I'm not putting anything down, but it's just like, yeah, we need connection. Again, that's healing in itself, is having somebody that understands you and can sit and listen to you.
And validate.
Yeah,
Yes. Get
absolutely.
that you're dealing with this. Let's figure out how.
Yeah, exactly.
How to move forward. Awesome. So I know, so you talked about then when you first got into business, you were with a partner. Do you currently collaborate with other practitioners or groups right now? Or if not, are you planning on doing something like that in the future?
Not at the moment, but Dana and I kind of work together because she works
Right.
with me in my clinic.
Okay.
I am looking at doing more in maybe small groups or more on an individual basis, but I would love to work in more of a community type setting too, and maybe
Right.
collaborate. But I don't, there's nothing set right now, but that's where it's headed for sure.
Yeah. Well, that at least in my experience is about community, right? Because again, this is about connection, and when you connect with other like-minded souls, you feed off of each other, and it just feels good, right?
Well, and isn't that, and when you look at it, like, what's better than that? Not much, because your body, you're literally, your cells respond to that feeling of connection.
Yes.
You can feel it right now. Like when I'm talking to you, I got goosebumps, and your whole system is opening up. Like that is flow. You talk about chi and energy flow. There you go.
Well, I was listening to Abraham recently, and she said in one of her books, this was from years ago, but in one of her books, she talks about it. She said, nothing is more important to me than that I feel good.
Right. Yes.
Like, and that's not coming from a place of selfishness, and yet it is, because we can't uplift other people. Again, you can't pour from an empty cup. We can't uplift other people when we aren't uplifted ourselves.
No, absolutely. And no, it's not selfish, but it's like you taking it again. It's like, okay, circumstances might not be great, but how do I respond to it? Can I look at that? And it's not trying to skate over issues. It's not trying to gloss things up and deny. Be real about it. But then how can you shift that? And so, yeah, we have resources, and it's just like learning that we do have that, and how can we, again, it's perspective.
Yeah, well, and the resources again, I go back to this community, right? Because it's like, even on days when you're not feeling that great, if you're reaching out to someone who is in a better place, it helps to lift you up, right?
Absolutely. And yes, and to not be able to feel like we're all alone in this. We're not. And that's, like you said, community, and what a beautiful, with like-minded and just like friendship. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Connection, yes. So how is it that you currently market your business? And are you seeing a lot of success in your marketing? Or again, and I know you alluded to this a bit earlier, but are there plans to change or enhance this strategy for yourself?
Currently, I do a little bit of online or just online, like through Google AdWords, like just, that's what I do for paid. But most of it is right now, because I've been in practice for over 15 years. So most of it's word of mouth now, and referrals from other health practitioners like chiropractors, doctors. So yeah, but I would like to go more into maybe social media, but that is a whole nother.
That's why we're doing this.
That's right. But maybe more education videos and just like getting out there more for sure. Yes.
And I think education is really key, because so many people who are looking for answers, and I know this is like my own story going back all these years when I was looking for where do I go next? Like it's really quite difficult to know where to go and what you're looking for. And so that whole part of education, it's like, oh, well, that's what acupuncture can do for me. Maybe that is something I should be looking.
A lot of times people come in and they're like, oh, I didn't know you treat that. I didn't know you do that. So that's what I'd like to do, is kind of open up more on that level. And also, like I'd mentioned to you earlier today, that I'm studying astrology as well. So I want to add that to my toolkit to just like to offer more services and more support in different ways.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, the astrology? Because that sounds really interesting.
It is. I've loved it for years, and it is, the more I learn, the more I am astounded at. And it's like a blueprint, basically an energetic blueprint of when the moment you took breath, this is what like your chart can tell you about yourself. So it's really like a validation. And it's like, so if there's struggles, it's like, well, yeah, this is why this is happening. And maybe not why, but it's like, how can you work with it? It's another tool. And I think it's just an empowering tool. And a lot of times when we go through life, we're conditioned. We have these
Yeah.
beliefs about ourselves, and maybe they're not, it's that gremlin or that negative voice.
Yes.
But it's like, this can help navigate through that. And it's just like, no, this is my nature. This is who I am. And so if you've been down on yourself for some kind of like trait that you have, and you see that, maybe you have this reflection with, in your chart, and it's like, oh, that's why I have that. Well, maybe I'm not weak. I'm just a very sensitive being. So what a beautiful gift that is. Like, to know that you're like this is a gift you've come into, not something to be like squashed down.
Right.
So it's about self-awareness and self-acceptance as well. And I think if I can offer that to people, to see, like, to help them see the beauty in their own, like, who they are, like, what a gift. And that,
Yes.
again, talk about feeling much, feeling that relief, or feeling that, acceptance.
Well, because again, it's like you're hitting on something, because it's the whole, instead of looking at something like my sensitivity
Yes.
as what's the word I'm looking for, as a failing or as a
weakness, exactly.
Right? Which it's not.
It's a gift. And
It's a gift.
the conditioning, I mean, and we're all in it, it's society, but there's so much, it's about structure. It's like, if you do this, do it this way, but we're not all made the same.
No.
And so it's like, okay, and this is a gift. It's something that the world needs. We need sensitivity, and we need to talk about our feelings, and we need to educate. So it's not something to just like muster over and do it anyway. That's how you burn out, and that's how people get depressed. They have that's where that happens.
Yes. Buck up and move on.
Yes. And like, just squash that part of yourself that's really just needing some attention. And, to know that it's huge. And again, talk about perspective, and it's just like a relaxing, it's like, oh, wow, this is who I am. That's okay.
Well, I'm excited for you to move into that realm, because, like, I look at my horoscope a lot, and it's like, oh, I don't really get that. Right.
Yeah.
And
that's only a small part of it, that sun sign. Like, if you look at the whole chart, you could study for a lifetime, and that's like one tiny little piece they take out, and it's not even a complete, not even nearly a complete picture. So I mean, it gets people are interested in that, but when you actually go dive deep, and like I talked to you earlier, when I talk to my boys and I show them like what's going on in their charts, and they are absolutely just thrilled, because they think, well, that's why I do this. That's it. That's what's going on underneath. Like, it really is. It's a tool for reflection, and it's not necessarily saying you have to do this or that. Not at all. It's about self-awareness.
Right.
And it's like, so just seeing them light up, and their friends, everybody, they just get so excited. And I'm thinking, wow, we can be excited about who they are in the world.
Yes. Well, but think about that. It's like, if you think about, so the way we were brought up in my generation, it was like, well, a lot of times it was like feelings. Yeah, feelings aren't really.
Yeah.
And certainly no real structure or no real introduction into self-awareness. So if this is a gift that you can bring forward to the younger generation, what does that mean for the future of the world? I mean, that can only be good.
Well, and I just think, I look around, and and I have friends, and I have like a lot of my friends have kids my age and stuff, and there's so much struggle, and it's emotional. There is a lot. And then you look at all of, like, there's addictions, there's so much going on, but why is it's emotion, like, is it emotional based? Like, are we not, what can we do to support, like, obviously people our age, our generation, but then the ones growing up, they need that support.
Yes, especially nowadays.
Yes, absolutely. So that's I would love to offer that, to help people and just to see the light in their eyes, and to see that, like, it's just like, yeah, that's what.
Well, as you were talking about it, you could see the light in your eyes.
Yeah.
and feel, and again, feel the energy, right? Because again, this is, and I'm like that too. It's like, I get so excited about things that we know that we can help the younger generation, because we can help save them some of the caca that we've had to deal with over the years, right?
Well, and everybody's got, like, there are challenges, and it doesn't mean that we, if we know that we have that support or the inner resources to go through it, and that you have support, then that's everything. But not to, so many people, I think there's so much isolation, and people don't want to talk about what's going on, and it's going on everywhere. There's so much pain and suffering, and we need to talk about it, and, like, so we can have more of that connection, what you're creating, community, so people don't feel isolated. But that's a tendency when people are in pain, is to isolate and feel alone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're changing the world. We are. One way or another. Okay, so we did a lot of that. So future of your business again. So you're looking more to astrology down the road.
Down the road as an adjunctive, or like, I'm not going to give up acupuncture.
Right.
I love that because it's just like it's amazing. Again, it's just another system. It's another system, another tool, right? But
Right.
astrology hits on another level that I really want to go into. But I really want to do work with groups as well, like maybe small groups of, women and maybe younger people, and it doesn't just have to be exclusively women, but I know that's kind of the well, generally it's women that usually are the cornerstone of the health in their homes, if you will. They're the yeah. So yeah, and with groups for sure.
So when you talk with groups, are you talking about with groups in terms of astrology or in terms of acupuncture?
It could be, well, probably more astrology. And I think like even groups of like maybe classes, and it's like, well, who are you? And I know people know who they are, but sometimes maybe they don't know all that it says and what, so they can have a reflection. It's like, wow, you're a change maker. You have a lot of fire in your chart. And you are meant to like take care and take charge and, like help and empower others, be an advocate. But for somebody to know that, like it's in there, like how can that change there, like right from earlier on, and maybe, and not in a selfish way, but in an empowering way where they can just be who they are. Yes. And help others in the meantime too.
Yes. Well, and that was the word actually that I was going to use, was the whole empowerment thing. Because again, if you understand where your talents are and how they are, or how they can be used for good, that's empowerment, right?
Absolutely. And then it's not something they have to, yes, there's like, I mean, in your chart, you'll see where certain aspects are where you're going to be pushed to grow, but that's part of life. It's going to come through us, but maybe but it also lights you up at the same time. So it can be a little challenging and you might be resistant, but at the same time, it's just so like when you do it, you just feel alive and you feel like, okay, yes, this is why I'm here. Like, so and I mean, there's no end point. Life isn't life whenever we're alive, and it's a creative force and it's moving through us, and we go with it or get dragged along. And, so
yes. And dragged along, those are the points in our life when we think things are really ugly. And really it's the universe's way of saying, get out there, get on.
Exactly. Right? And it's those oppositions, or it's irritation, and it forces us to shift, and it can be perspective. Oh, okay, well that eases it. Like, in what if it's our belief systems that need to be broken down, if it's like something that's not in our highest nature, right, then we're going to be shown, and it can be shown in the outer world so that we can actually see it. Like, so we see it, it's not always just internal. It shows us externally, but but it is an internal job.
It is an internal job. And then when we resist, the universe just keeps turning up the heat, right?
Right, exactly. It's that rub. It's just like that constant pressure. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? Like, there's choice. And I think the beauty of it is you have choices, and then learning how to work with the challenges. They're coming, but and they won't go away. But you're gonna have more resources again internally to actually work with it.
Well, I'm excited to see what you come up with, because
I'm thrilled. I'm so excited as well.
Well, because like I say, I've looked at a little bit, and I confess, I think I've tried, like I've maybe had, I want to say some kind of astrology stuff. I don't even know enough. Right. But it's like, if you don't really understand it, it's more confusing than anything.
Yes. And it's like, and sometimes, like, I mean, it's fantastic. It's out there, but it doesn't give like, especially with like sun sign astrology. Like, I mean, it's fun to look at. Right. Mm-hmm. But again, a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't give the whole picture. Right. But, and then a spin-off of that is, and I don't know if you've heard of it, is human design.
No.
That's another system that was brought forth in 1987, I believe. But it's another system. It's similar to astrology, but it really works on what is your aura. And so what is your energy type in the world? And so it's very individualized that way. So some people are meant to be like generating, like they have the energy to just keep going, and every day they need to use that energy up. And other people don't. They need to be their energy builds off other people. So they need to be in community. They need to help other people, like guide them, but they need that energy, that interaction, if you will. So there's different types. And so when you find out, like, how do I work? Like, am I meant to do this? Like, maybe you're not.
Yes.
Maybe, you know, it's another tool for
well,
navigation.
I can see the value in that, because again, then it's more a matter of figuring out where I capitalize on my strengths, as opposed to pushing through something that really is never my gift.
No, and it doesn't, when you do that, it's like hitting square corners all the time. Like, gunk, gunk, you know, it's like, there's not a flow to it. So it can, I think it can help with that. Yeah. It's more for guidance. Guidance is what it is. Yeah.
I can see how that could be easily turned into some kind of a course, because yeah, it's like we all need that education, because certainly, again, my generation and older, those weren't they weren't fundamentals in school, and they weren't even optional.
No, and even like, but you can see it in the world. People want it, and there's a movement. It's just like people are becoming more, and I don't want to say it's not, they're looking outside, like there's more, and
yes.
People want it. So, but there's so many systems that are here, and like and that's my passion too, is learning these systems so I can help other people with it too.
Yes, I do know that's one of my passions too. It's like,
yes, yours.
When I can't learn anymore, I'm done.
No, exactly. And I think that's just that's our natures too. But then that brings that to the world. But like, yeah, that's our gift as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would you say has been a real source of information or inspiration in your life?
I think it would be the people, like, just every day that I come across. Like, maybe there's not one, well, maybe my grandma, but she passed away when I was really small. And so probably about 10, but she was this woman who was so ahead of her time, and she was, she'd have her classical music playing. And I grew up on a ranch, so, you know, out in rural Alberta. And she would just play her classical music, and she'd oil paint, and she would, like, we could do, you know, make cookies. She'd have us picking potato bugs off the plants, and we would just be in like our bliss. But she was just this woman that she was so full of life. And I think I never, you know, she passed away when I was 10, but she's left such a mark, you know, and you know, she would be my inspiration.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's more like live your life. Like, she was just free, and it was just like, she had so much joy, and just so much joy to give too.
Yeah. Well, right. That's a key point. Live your life.
Yes. And and trying, I mean, we all have that voice, that negative, you know, the conditioned one. And you and I spoke about that earlier. Yeah. And it's really takes time, you know, to help like kind of overcome that, or not even overcome it, but it's like, okay, that you're there, but we're not gonna dumb ourselves down or dim our light because you say so. You're gonna come along, and we're gonna do something new.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm not paying attention. I'm gonna go
exactly. Yes.
What I'm here to do anyways.
Right. Yeah. And turn that into a strength, because I mean, everybody has that, right? But use it as a, you know, and not tell it like say we were talking about the weakness, but maybe that voice is like, okay, don't put it in the corner, have a voice, but then bring it along with us so that can, you know, it's not left there to sabotage either.
Yes. That's the baby you put in the corner.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, this has been awesome, Dawn. So nice to chat with you. So where can, do you want to give your contact information so if people want to get in touch with you?
Sure. So I'm in St. Albert. My business is New Balance Acupuncture. My phone number is 780-756-3111. My website is newbalanceacupuncture.com. And yeah, and anybody welcome if you have any questions, or I'm happy to connect. So.
Well, I'm so happy that we got this chance to chat, because like I say, I love your energy. I love your spirit.
Well, thank you. Likewise. Oh my goodness.
We always have such a good time when we're
Yes, we do.
Okay, so thank you to everyone for joining us for this week's show. Thanks to our guest Dawn for sharing her stories and insights into how she created and grew her practice, as well as being vulnerable enough to share some of her challenges. We always love more knowledge, and whatever's presented here is always valuable for people. So as always, we appreciate your feedback. If you enjoyed the show, please let us know, and then spread the love and tell your friends. If you have suggestions for someone that you'd like to see on the show, please email me at benita@thehealthygorilla.com. And coming soon to my website, my 15 easy hacks to more visibility, more clients, and more income for natural health businesses. It's not on my site yet, but if you want it, you can email me again at benita@thehealthygorilla.com. And please join us again next week, and let's keep this natural health movement going.